Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow. Say hi, Terry.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics, because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week we had a busy week of TV with a West Wing episode and the season premiere of The Good Place and the accompanying podcast for both of those.
Yeah.
But first, it was movie night on Dancing with the Stars.
So we visited many of our favorite movies during the course of the evening.
Or movies. I don't know about how favorite, but...
Right. Well, it was amazing how each person said, oh, this is my favorite movie.
What a coincidence.
Was it? Is Titanic really your favorite movie, Cal?
I have a little trouble believing that.
Yeah.
Similarly, Ray's injury was even less convincing than Christie's.
But they did show you a gnarly picture of his foot, so...
Yeah, I guess.
Not something I needed to see, but okay. Well, you feel bad for Mary, too, because it was down to the two of them last time.
That is the worst part of it. I mean, if he said it's been bothering him this whole time, it would have been, chivalrous to bow out then and let her stay. That's the most upsetting thing about it. It stinks for Cheryl also.
Right.
But, okay, maybe it's a legit injury. I don't know. Did it look to you like they upgraded Christie's cast? It looked much more complex this time.
It did look a little more.
The first time it looked like she had wrapped toilet paper around it. This looks like it's actually a mechanism that might be involved if you had the worst break anybody had ever seen.
Yeah, but it still is like slender. Like it is. It's not bulky like you think a cast would.
I want to see them bump it up every week until by the end she's like in traction.
They wheel her out in the hospital bed.
They're still not buying it. Quick.
Do something else.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure everybody is legitimately injured. And, it's hard. It's a hard thing. But...
Yeah, but has this happened before where, two have gone down in the first 3 weeks?
Do not believe so.
And then we had to have the whole charade of we're going to eliminate somebody.
That was the worst.
Which we all could have figured out.
That was so mean. If it's legit, I mean, maybe they told them ahead of time and they were all just acting. This is what I'm going to tell myself. Because otherwise, that's kind of sadistic. They could easily have called it any number of times. I don't know if the votes from this week go to next week or if
that's what they said.
Is that what they said? Okay. Mm-hmm. So they could have at any time when the voting was over said, I hate the let's call the names dramatically one by one anyway.
Right.
But when you're not going to actually eliminate anybody, that's really nasty.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can see... So if they needed everybody to vote, so they weren't going to say it,
right?
Before that,
yeah.
But then they had kind of like a little time to kill, I guess. But they could have figured out something else.
I would have liked them to figure it out. I mean, why, amongst other things that were puzzling about this episode, including that. Why did they explain? Did I miss it? Why we had to have Rashad come out and do Ray's dance and not just? I guess for time they needed to fill the time, show off Cheryl's choreography. Yeah. That just seemed like a real WTF moment.
Yeah, I mean it's not like he's going to. It's not like Sailor where she took over for Mom. It was just like, we had this dance all choreographed. We want to use it. Hey Rashad, what do you?
One football guy for another. Right. It'll be fun.
No one will even know.
Yeah. It's like, but he can't take over because he already won.
Yeah.
That was so weird. But on the list of things that I am completely psyched about, Kate is really good.
She was great.
She's not just the wisecracking dame comic relief who'll stick around for a while and then stumble off. She's good.
Yeah, she's doing really well.
I am so thrilled for her. Mm-hmm. And for me to see somebody that's even close to my age that's dancing well. That is wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm still voting a lot for Lauren and voting a lot for James, but she may become my favorite at some point. I hope she has the voting block to make it, because she's exactly the right sort of thing for this. Somebody who's not known for dancing and comes on and does really well. I wonder if she has some dancing in her past, because she seems to, either have some experience or pick things up really well, which may be the case.
Yeah.
But I also think her pro is quite good.
Yeah, the new guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he seems to be teaching really well and choreographing really well, and he's also cute. Mm-hmm. So, I approve of his addition.
Excellent.
And also added this week, apparently, is like 50 or 60 other dancers we've never seen before. I thought they eliminated the troupe, and yet all of a sudden there's so many people.
Yeah.
My husband was watching that opening number with me and saying, how many people are on this show? And I'm like, I've never seen most of these people before in my life.
Right.
I have no idea who they are or where they came from, but there they are filling the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And being in the background, faffing about on all sorts of dances.
There was faffing about, there was mist, there was, whose was it? Karamo's. Mm-hmm. The troupe was between Karamo and the judges.
What the heck?
Guys,
I noticed that too.
This is not a good idea.
What is the point of this exactly then? Yeah. I want Karamo to be better than he is. He's just really, he's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like his partner, so that deducts points.
Right.
But I throw him some votes every week.
So
just
sweet. Yeah.
He does. He seems very sweet. He seems very into it, and the judges seem mean to him.
Yeah.
So I throw him some sympathy votes.
And once again, the scoring, like...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you give Sean all fives. I mean, that was definitely not better than Lamar.
I think it was better than Lamar.
Did you?
I didn't think it was good. I mean, Lamar was significantly better than he was last week in that he didn't look like he wished somebody would shoot him during the dance.
Right.
But he was not doing very much.
No, he wasn't.
He was just kind of stepping around while Peta flung herself in very many positions. I mean, I don't think that Sean was necessarily a lot better than him. I think he was maybe a point better than him.
You think he was a point?
I think he was doing more stuff. But they're both not good and should go home soon. But I was happy to see that Lamar at least seemed to be in better spirits. So he seemed to be enjoying himself a little more.
Once he got a phone call from his buddy.
Yes, there in his underwear, which highlighted his ridiculously long legs.
Right.
But, Peta's working hard and good on her.
Yeah, she is. That is true.
Yeah.
So,
another week down.
And they say next week, next week they're calling it the top 10, which it is now that Ray is retired.
Yes.
So. Yep.
Is it? It's 10? So they had 11
this week. They started with 12.
And now they have 11. All right. Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, quite a lot of people who are fine. Not necessarily standouts, but fine. I think it's just that there's not any really obvious ringers. I mean, some people obviously have a little bit of background, but nobody is, professional grade. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
But it does mean that there's nothing real flashy. Mm-hmm. So
that's why they got to bring in the troupe and the...
I guess so, but...
And the furniture and the...
Yes.
And the former champion, Rashad.
Yeah. I was thinking Peta should have just kept dancing on the couch and then she'd be about this right
she'd be the right size.
They should have made it a platform of some sort.
Right.
Oh, well.
That would have been hard to do in the heels, but...
That's true.
She's pretty game for anything.
She is. So. Yeah, she's a resourceful girl.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
That was fun. Did you vote this time?
I voted a couple times, and then I tried to vote. I forgot that I was watching it a little bit delayed,
shoot.
and I missed it. Oh, so I was like, I can vote. When I first started watching, I thought, okay, I can go ahead and vote, anytime.
Right.
For anyone. And then
as many times as you want.
Forgot. So I'm not doing well at the voting thing just yet, but maybe next week I can do better.
What you have to do is pick your favorites and just vote for them early, and then if he goes over, show, yes. They also do have if you not so much with texts, but if you vote on the website, you can keep going back in and changing it. Right. So if you vote for somebody and then you don't like them, all of a sudden you can go back and
take them away.
Yes. Seize your votes back.
You're gone.
All right. So The Good Place is back. How exciting.
Is.
The Good Place, and they're in the medium place right now, kind of, sort of.
Very busy.
In a neighborhood that is meant to be like The Good Place, but actually Janet is holding it all together with the force of her amazing powers.
Yes.
So it was a good episode for her because she was very stressed out.
Poor Janet.
Yes, I know. You felt bad for her, but also it was funny.
Yes.
So what'd you think? Are you glad to be back?
Well, as I realized it was on this week and I anticipated watching it, I had a certain amount of anxiety because I've enjoyed this show so much, but that last twist where they're going to do it all again, but Chidi had to have his memory wiped, and there's all these complications. I was finding myself a little apprehensive about going back and not sure that I was going to like it or that they were going to be able to pull it off in a way that I liked. I just enjoyed them all being together as a group so much, and while the thing with Chidi was powerful and poignant for that last episode, to then have to pick up after that and see all the complications, and then Sean constantly throwing things to make things difficult for them, and then there's Derek. So I was worried about it, and I am no less worried after the first episode. It pretty much confirmed my concerns, and I think it's just that I like things to be going well for our heroes, and I don't like things to be going bad for our heroes. And I like episodes of television that, within the space of a half an hour or an hour, at least give me a little bit of both. There can be bad things and difficult things, but I want just a little point of connection somewhere. I want a little bit of encouragement. And it was hard to see how that was going to happen with this new setup, and I don't feel like I really got it out of that episode. I kept hoping it was over before something else bad happened.
And then it wasn't actually over because it was part one of two.
I did not know that. So that explains. But it's just like, I don't know. Life's complicated enough. I like a little more escapism in my TV. And this show has always been, challenging and hard things. But usually there's been the togetherness of the group. But I felt this time they were all sort of off dealing with their own stuff. And, you can see where Eleanor now is going to have had the seed planted in her head by Bad Janet to sort of be, it's just, I'm just a wimp. I don't like it in dramas either when there's like these multi-episode arcs of everything going bad for our heroes. I want our heroes to get a win every little episode. It doesn't have to be big, but it's got to be something. So maybe that's just me. So I was, I felt anxious all throughout that episode. I enjoyed the podcast about it quite a lot. Way more than I enjoyed the episode. Maybe since it's a two-part, there's going to be something for me in the second half. That makes me feel better. That this wasn't just one complete step. So knowing this show, by the end of the second half of this episode, we could be doing something completely different. So
yes, everything could entirely change.
So I just maybe need to hold on a little bit longer. That is good to know. Because I felt just as a standalone thing, it just made me sad.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot going on. I still felt like there were some very funny lines that got me laughing. And the whole like Tahani had a couple that just like fairly just casually tossed off, like, Nelson Mandela,
yes.
Patrick Stewart, or any of my racquetball partners, really.
Yes.
Like, oh, that's just so good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah.
I still enjoyed it, but I totally get what you mean.
Yeah.
It is a little more stressful than what we have, what we might wish for our friends.
It is. So I will hope that, it was a nice thing with that. I was wondering what the deal was going to wind up being with Linda, and I did not ever think it was that she was the muscly demon in disguise.
The hot demon.
That was a nice shift. Although I feel like the reveal of that was done sort of off camera. You saw her, all this stuff happening, and then they're complaining to the judge after. So,
well, they had the scene, where they pulled the Linda suit off.
That was when they were talking to the judge, right? So Tahani had figured it out or something like that during the commercial break. I want Derek to be a ridiculous goofball comic relief, not somebody who is causing Jason to be stressed and sad. Mm-hmm. Jason should not be stressed and sad. That's not in that character's DNA.
Right.
I don't think. I felt so bad for him.
Right.
And
but I did like his imitation of Derek's mean eyes.
Yes, that is true. Of course there's always going to be good and funny stuff because the writers of this are extremely good and funny. And on a macro level, I trust that they're going to wind up with something I'm really going to love. Mm-hmm. But on the micro level, I'm anxious to get there quickly. Yes. I love Mark Evan Jackson on the podcast, but Sean, I just want Sean to go away. He's hilarious, but it's just like, stop throwing roadblocks at my guys. Come on.
Messing with them, yes.
Anyway.
Yes. Well, maybe we should, just cross our fingers and move on.
I'm believing in your good place. I'm holding on. I'll keep watching, but I may not be eagerly looking forward quite so much as I used to.
Right. Well, and how are you feeling about The West Wing right now?
Well, talking about sad things in The Good Place.
Yeah.
This is the episode that started off with the announcement that John Spencer had passed away, which now is sort of weird to have it there on Netflix, years and years and years later. But at the time, it was obviously it had been in the news before this episode aired, so they felt like they had to do something. And it turned out to be this extremely Leo-centric episode that showed him sort of at his weakest and most feeble and also his most sly. Mm-hmm. So what a tour de force for that to be his really pretty much his last episode. So there's a number of episodes left before Leo passes away, but I don't think he's on those particularly. According to IMDb, he's credits only for all but one. And I don't remember him being huge in that one. So this is probably the last major episode he's in, but boy, is he in it.
And because I think the next episode is really a White House, not a campaign episode.
Yeah.
So.
And there are a number of campaign episodes, but as has been true throughout the season, you don't necessarily see him in all the campaign episodes.
Right.
Just as, boy, I love the cost savings on having everybody in Vinnick's campaign except Vinnick talking about the vice presidential stuff.
That's right.
The senator just stepped out to the bathroom. Let's talk about what we're going to do.
Exactly.
He's getting lunch. He's treating us all. He's going down to the deli.
Right. Well, so do you think that at the beginning when during the prep, when he was doing so poorly, was he already faking it to lower expectations, or was he that bad and then he realized he was going to do something about it?
I would have assumed that he was faking it, but because I think as they mentioned on the West Wing podcast, it's reminiscent of there was an episode where Bartlett did the same thing with the bet before the debate. So I thought that it was that, but then at the end he seemed to be saying, no, I really was that bad at it, because he's not a soundbite guy. He's a, he's a wonk. So he's not going to do well at that sort of thing. That's never been his thing. So I guess we're supposed to believe that he actually did it. It's hilarious that he hacked into Annabeth's email.
Right. Which, as they pointed out on the podcast, what if any single person responded to her email? Then she would have known immediately that something happened.
Yeah, that's one of those things you need to not think too much about.
Right.
But, and I mean, wouldn't somebody have pointed their finger at her as the one who leaked it? But,
yes.
you know, I knew somebody had. I didn't realize it was him. I didn't remember enough about this episode other than just he was very bad. And then at the end, he was very sly. So,
right.
You know, and he did fine.
Yeah. Well, that and the thing that they pointed out on the podcast that bugged me as well, which was that Toby was on the phone with Josh and he said he's at court and he's between arraignments and you knew it was a Sunday. And there was like so much going on. It was so busy. It was so clearly a weekday.
Yes.
And also, who's letting him wander around in the hall unsupervised during his? Yeah. Why wasn't he just at home? They had a set for his home. Like I don't understand.
Sometimes you have to let art wash over you.
Yeah. But
I love that they had that conversation anyway.
Yes, that was a great conversation. It was fun. I'm glad that
love them just kind of like beaming in Richard Schiff from different play. Maybe they just didn't want to fly him out to the set, so they said, "Is there a courthouse near you? Just go. We'll send a guy with an well, they didn't have iPhones then. We'll send a guy with a handheld video camera to tape you sitting there.
Oh boy, yeah.
We'll just green screen in something behind you,
right? Well, and the other little thing like that was that at the very end. Very, very end, Leo's just sitting in a chair and sort of, decompressing after the debate. And he drinks something. And it's like, you need for this to be like a water bottle.
Exactly.
In order for it to not worry me.
Right.
Because it looks like a highball glass. And that's not okay.
No.
Obviously, there could have been any sort of innocuous liquid in it, but
true.
You couldn't tell that for sure.
Yes, you need to see him opening the can of soda and pouring it in.
Yes, and they didn't show that.
That is weird. That is weird. I did not notice that, but that is not good. Do not play games with Leo.
Yeah, please don't.
Yes.
So, the Santos family stuff.
Yes, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, all the invasion of privacy and the addition of the Secret Service. And
right.
I just actually read Michelle Obama's memoir, and it was interesting to watch this right after reading that because she does spend some time talking about all that.
Yeah.
Just how weird it is, basically.
That you never think about.
For that to be your life now. I mean, during the campaign and then, of course, once they moved into the White House, like just how odd it all is.
Well, it's going to continue on that theme. So, that was, and then the terribly mortifying thing about her underwear, although I don't, stupid underwear to be wearing there. Helen. Come on.
Make different choices, Helen.
Yes, exactly. I would not be buying the tabloid, but I might be tisking a little. But no, but still, that ain't right.
Yeah.
That's not fair. But nice comment.
Although I don't think that Santos calling the tabloid publisher to yell at him is effective in any way.
No, it just gives them another story.
Yeah, they should have said that backfired.
Yeah, couldn't somebody have Donna needed to have put herself between him and the phone and said,
yeah, no, we don't.
like she told the truth to Helen. She needs to tell it to Matt as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice scene between the two blonde ladies.
Yes, it was.
Yes, put a pin in that. I had forgotten that scene existed,
but
remember that later.
Okay.
Anyway, and then we had the. Will Bailey continuing with his apparent job as comic relief.
Right.
Bantering wonkishly with Kate Harper. And then having a first date dinner that was to me, I'm surprised they didn't mention this on the podcast, extremely reminiscent of Jeremy and Natalie on Sports Night, where he had a picnic spread out on the floor by her desk.
Oh, yeah.
Then fell asleep on her lap, I think. But still. It made me think of that. So, it's like, we have to have something in the White House, but we don't really have much money left. Let's see. Who are our 2 cheapest actors in the White House?
Right.
No, we can't afford Allison. We can't afford...
it was a very tight shot in Will's office. You can barely tell where you are.
Yes. They might have been in his apartment, too. Just, you guys find an office building near you. Just go in. We can't afford to fly to the set. Anyway. Still, I enjoy their romance, even though the dialogue is pretty stilted, but still, I'll buy.
Yeah. Well, it's very, rom-com.
It is very rom-com, yes. So, and all in all, a generally enjoyable episode with some painful scenes of Leo struggling. But,
right.
as with The Good Place, you have faith that at some point they will get somewhere that you will want to be.
Next week, we will continue with week 4 of Dancing with the Stars, part 2 of The Good Place premiere.
Yes.
Which is called A Girl from Arizona. And the West Wing episode, the next one is called Internal Displacement. Which sounds unpleasant.
Yes.
But that will be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.